just want to give a shout out to all my homies.
Actually, no. Let's not give a little shout out
Just
to
because
our
you don't have any friends doesn't mean we can't
Red
say
Lobster, aka Gingerbread Boy.
She's part of the hater crew. Like,
Hater.
she's
Oh,
You hating on us because we trying to
holler at the homie.
Hi, this is Lisette. You're listening to The Morning Buzz on WHITradio.org. Good morning. Welcome to The Morning Buzz on WHITradio.org. I am your host, Lisette, and today with us we have Aaliyah, Mr. P.
Hi, Lizette.
We have a very interesting show for you today. It's kind of, it is a very, very serious topic. We're going to talk about heroin and about, all the epidemic that's going on in Bergen County and in New Jersey,
Hudson County,
yeah,
too.
in Hudson County, too. It's been really serious. I actually know a couple of people who are on who do oxy. So, and it's a sad because they're my friends, and I try to stay away from that. But this has become such an epidemic in America. It's, like in Jersey, in America, and a lot of southern and
all over the nation.
Basically, a lot closer to the border as well, because it comes from Mexico too. So I've heard a lot of stories about that. But I'm gonna talk about a story about Bergen County. Tragedy happened, a really big tragedy. There was a kid, and he died from heroin, unfortunately. When death came for Mark Macmillan, it was on the floor of the family bathroom where the 18-year-old had retreated to shoot heroin a day after leaving rehab. It came with the familiar wave of euphoric tranquility, then a nod and a tumble to the floor. It came at his 83-year-old grandfather, who had been like a father to Mark. His male role model in a single-parent household burst in, dragged him to his bedroom, and performed CPR, as well as Mark's 14-year-old sister and their 11-year-old brother, who has autism. From the sight of the needle, the whirl of sirens, their older brother's blue limbs, the grim scene playing out in their Allendale home. So he lived in Allendale.
A rich suburban town
Yes.
in Bergen County.
Yes, it is. A lot of these cases are coming from Bergen County. And,
Right.
I mean, you kind of, not that heroin is expensive anymore, because it's down to like $5, but, like a bundle. But it is coming from a lot of these wealthy kids who kind of have everything going for them, and because of either curiosity or boredom, they're out here, doing these drugs and risking their lives and the lives of others, as well as their families. Because I know I am a single child, and I know if something were to happen to me, if I were to die because of something so tragic like this, I know my mother will be so terribly devastated that she will come across thoughts of taking her own life, because of the love she has for me, and that is something where she has said over and over, if something were to happen to you, I wouldn't be able to live anymore. So just imagine the parents of these poor children that are doing these things just out of curiosity, or just to be cool or to have fun. It's really sad, and I feel like it's such a big problem, and not only is it risking a life, but what about everything they could get? Like, there's so many diseases out there, and we all know that the main disease that the main illness, the main infection you get from heroin use is AIDS. It's HIV/AIDS.
Needles,
Yes.
dirty needles.
Dirty needles, that is such a big problem.
Right.
Aaliyah, what is heroin? Tell us, what is heroin exactly?
Heroin is it's a drug, and it's highly addictive. It's a legal drug. It is used by millions of addicts around the world who are unable to overcome the urge to continue taking this drug every day of their lives, knowing that if they stop, they will face a horror of withdrawal. Heroin, like opium and morphine, is made from the resin of poppy plants. Milky sap-like opium is first removed from the pod of the poppy flower. This opium is refined to make morphine, then further refined into different forms of heroin. Most heroin is injected, creating additional risk for the user, who faces the danger of AIDS or other infection on top of the pain of addiction. The origins of heroin. Heroin was first manufactured in 1898 by the Bayer I don't know how to say
Pharmacia.
it. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Company of Germany, and marketed as a treatment of tuberculosis. Sorry. As well.
Tuberculosis.
Yes.
Okay.
As well as the remedy of morphine addiction.
Right. Well, heroin is very addictive. It's an opiate. As Aaliyah says, it comes from the poppy plant. And
Yeah.
what?
For
Yeah.
for those who aren't aware of what it looks like, just in case you're in a certain atmosphere or environment and it's drugs around, it's in a purest form. Heroin is fine white powder, but more often it is found to be a rose gray, brown, or black in color. The coloring comes from additives, additives which have been used to dilute it, which can include sugar, caffeine, or other substances.
Right.
All right. So we get a pretty good idea what it's about. What I want to discuss, and what I think I push you guys to do the program. Why do you think that these kids, that basically suburban kids, you think they have the world in front of them, they have everything, and yet they're going to cities like Patterson, I guess, Jersey City, Newark, let me finish the question. They spend their money, they bring it home, they go into their room, and they either sniff it or shoot it up. And what this story says is a lot of parents take these kids to the city and get their heroin for them. That's unbelievable to me. Let's talk about that, okay?
I feel like it does say that there's a lot of parents, and I feel like those are the parents that have an idea that it's up to the user to stop. And so at this point, I feel like the parent has a whirlwind of thoughts going through their head and a whirlwind of feelings, that at this point what they think the best parenting to their addicted child is to just support it, which is completely wrong.
Right.
You can't support an addiction
because if the child was to stop, the withdrawal is going to hurt them even more, and I think the parent does not want to see their child go through something so vicious like that. So I think it's like a 50-50 kind of thing. Like, you don't want to see your child hurt even more of what they're already hurting, but it's not okay for you to help them, especially when it's such a vicious drug. If I was a parent in this predicament, I would want to see my son hurt, or daughter hurt, getting better than using it more. Like, I would want to see them.
I think they have to give tough love at this point.
Yeah, it is tough love.
You have to confront the problem and realize it's a problem. Don't hide it, and prevent the kid in any way you can from taking the drugs. Now, that's easier said than done, because they can sneak out, they can get stuff.
And the thing is, it says it on here where it says that the parents, they feel that they take away the cars, they take away the money, they take away everything that they feel that the child won't get to the heroin. But I'm a child myself, and when I want something, I get it. Whether my mom takes away my car, whether she takes away my license, whether she takes away my money, if I want something, I have so many ways of getting it, and at the end of the day, I get it. And I'm not saying that I do anything. I'm just saying, just for the story, it could be done. So I feel like it's a really sticky situation, because you want to have tough love, and you want to punish them and make them realize how wrong it is what they're doing. And I'm sure the child knows it's wrong. You know, it's just they're probably way too far in already to even try to get out. But things like that, it's in my opinion, like when a child does something wrong and the parent hits them. Honestly, that I feel like that's so wrong because it's not gonna do anything. I'm a really rebellious, daughter. I'm not gonna lie, I am. And when my mom tries to punish me, screams at me, takes away, it doesn't do anything to me. It makes me even more mad. It makes me want to do it even more, whatever it is that I'm doing. And I know that's really spoiled of me, but that's what happens when you're so privileged when you're young. That's what happens when your parents spoil you to death. You have to raise your child in a certain way nowadays. I feel like grown-ups now were raised so much better than the kids in this generation. They had morals and values, and I know I don't like.
Basically, it was more of a struggle for our elders to grow up because now we have technology and everything's so up to date, and you guys, well, I don't know, like back in the day, there wasn't no iPhones, there wasn't, clothing. Nobody really cared how everybody dressed,
sticks. And it was basically like I feel like the way that the kids in this generation was raised is completely different, and it's not as good as it was in the past. You guys my mom has traditions, she has values, she has morals. I unfortunately am a girl who loves to be out with my friends. I'd rather be out than having family time. I'd rather be at parties, dancing, than home watching a movie with my mom.
Well, that's always been the case. I mean, I feel even like my generation.
Honestly, my mom tells me how her and all her friends, they weren't like that. They were always home with the family. They were always, I
don't know about that, but go.
I guess then from my family.
Maybe your family.
Yeah. And from where I come from, that's how things were done back then. Whereas now, all the kids want to be out. All the kids want to be doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, drinking, doing drugs. Going to these places, and the generation has changed completely. Yeah. It is very sad. I hope that when I have my child, I don't get what I put out on the table. Right. I really want to raise them to be. Good children, and to know right from wrong and know the consequences of what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And to care, because that's really what it comes down to. It comes down to caring. Whether you're laughing, but I'm really serious. Because I know how it is. Like, I'm not an angel, so I feel like the child nowadays, we know right from wrong, but we choose wrong instead of right.
I think sorry, not to get off your conversation, but the epidemic of heroin and the users our age, actually, it's like between 16 and higher, it has grown drastically. Wow. In 2006, it was 21,486 the New Jersey admissions to hospitals and state facilities of heroin treatment, and the latest statistics shows that in 2012 it has grown to 25,324.
Wow. That's horrible.
So basically, I think our generation, we are looking up to celebrities, and basically,
think we're looking at the wrong people?
Basically,
we just have like different people. Like the people that we look up to
are not role models at all.
They're not role models at all. Like, I think we should look up to more like grandparents and stuff like that, and we should not.
Teachers.
And grandparents and teachers, and I think we shouldn't be more into like friends and stuff. Even though I'm saying this, I know my friends, and I like to have fun also. Don't get me wrong, I am a little crazy one, but I think when it comes down to this, to be completely honest, I will never, ever, ever, ever want to try a drug. Just for the simple fact that my little sister's father was a heroin addict, and I already seen everything that, was done with that, and all his withdrawals, and it was just really sad, but we had to go through, me and my mother, and it takes a lot, and just because I've been through that certain situation, I would never
it's enough to never want
to know, to never try, never be interested in it, or any drug at all, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel as though we are at the certain age that we know what's right from wrong. And if someone does, you know, try a certain drug, you need to get ready for what comes next. That's it. Nobody's going to help you. Nobody's going to feel bad for you.
Right.
You do have your friends. And if I ever have a friend who's ever in this predicament, I'm going to do my best, you know, to let them know. But I can't stop them from doing what they want to do at the end of the day. You get me?
Yeah, I feel like, and that's what kind of happened, because
that's what it comes down to. And your parent, it's going to hurt your parent just to know that you are even involved with this. But there's nothing to worry about. Me and Lisette are perfectly fine. I'm crazy because I'm just crazy. Don't worry.
Well, we're not, you know.
Just, I just want to, on a serious note, if there's any kids our age, which I'm 17, you know, Lisette's 18, listening to this, just please be aware of your surroundings. Like, think, you know, I understand the partying and the drinking.
And you get peer pressure, too. There's a lot of peer pressure that goes on. But
that's going to happen,
you know,
but at the end of the day, you have to think.
Yeah,
like,
you have to you have to think of your consequences. That's what it comes down to, because we all know right from wrong. And look, this kid, Mark, he just got out of rehab, and already the next day, he was shooting up, and look what happened. He died. You know,
just shows you how powerful
your conscience is very deceiving. Very deceiving. You just have to be, you know, you have to be aware of everything. And I want to bring this up because it is a new drug or whatever that is being that a lot of us teenagers are aware of and using. It's called Molly, and it's a powder, a crystal form of MDMA. And I just want to, you know, give a little bit more background information if you guys aren't familiar. Molly, the powder of a crystal form of MDMA, the chemical used in ecstasy, has been a popular drug at music festivals this year. Molly, short for molecule, is considered to be pure MDMA, once again, unlike ecstasy, which generally is laced with other ingredients such as caffeine or
cocaine.
Yeah, according to Pax Prentice, co-founder, CEO of Passages rehab
center.
Centers in Southern California. Molly users tend to be ages 16 to 24. So it's basically a pill that gives you, you know, I guess a crazy feeling or whatever.
I heard that's the big recreation drug.
Yes,
that's
the main drug right now. It's like LSD back then.
Yeah.
It's that now.
I mean, it's not that, you know, you don't trip out or anything. It's not as crazy as acid is, but it's something where it gets you hyper. It's in a form, it's kind of in the same category as cocaine, just not as strong, I think you want to say, because cocaine, you're really on it and you're just, you know, in another planet. With Molly, unfortunately, I have gone out and I have had friends on it, and they kind of know what they're doing, but they're just in a very hyper, you know, way.
Euphoric.
Like, and like I have ADD, and I don't take like Adderall or Xanax or anything for it. So, and I have anxiety as well. So I'm already always hyper and always like jumping off the wall, so I would never even try to up that boost. Like, I would never boost that for me. That is something where, you know, I find it to be, I think you could have fun without doing anything, any drug and drinking. I'm the type of girl that I can always have fun. I don't have to be on anything or drinking anything. Aaliyah's the same way.
People that take these drugs are just thinking of the moment. They're not thinking of their future. They're not
really
thinking of what's going to happen tomorrow. They're probably like, I'm not going to get addicted, but we all have different, you know, bodies and the blood flows, and it depends actually if your blood is immune to the drug, and it makes you get addicted. I'm just saying that if anyone's listening, you have to be smart, and no one's gonna stop you when you start, and no one can stop you but yourself. So if you are a user or you are thinking about using, you know, I just want, you know, the best advice I can give you is to be smart. We have such great future ahead of us.
Don't ruin it.
And I just don't want this generation to be judged over something so stupid, because I am one in, you know, the category of this generation of, you know, these ages that drugs are being used. And now that another thing is, Yes, it's a very serious case, and basically we said everything we had to say, and
just
I
be
want
careful,
to be
guys.
aware.
Please be aware of your consequences. Think before you do something, seriously, because that's the thing. We're not thinking right. We just want to live for the moment. You guys have great futures ahead of you. You have to think about the consequences, you know. Just stay safe. Don't do drugs. It's not fun, kids. It's not cool. It really isn't. When you look like a crackhead, when you're missing teeth, when you have zits and pimples all over your face, you know, that's disgusting. Just, you know, stay away from it. That's the best advice that we can give you. Don't do drugs.
Yeah, life is a great gift. Don't
ruin it.
Don't ruin it. Right?
Only God takes your life and gives you one. You know, you don't have to, put it, like, harm it or try to get it taken away, basically, because that's what drugs do. They ruin it and they could kill you. But yeah, so that was our show. I hope you enjoyed it. Very informative.
Yeah.
Thank
once
you
again, don't do drugs, kids.
Yes, there. DARE. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, Aaliyah. Thank you,
WHIC
Lizette, for a great show. And
no problem.
let's hope
Enjoy
that somebody who's listening out there will take their advice.
Yes, thank you.